Hey there everybody. So I wanted to make another video. I realized I haven't been making too many videos lately, and that's just because I've been doing a lot of work and not a lot of cool things. But I wanted to make another quick video to talk about different kinds of backpacks, and that's mainly the difference between alpine climbing backpacks, like the one in the middle, and then backpacking backpacks. And I brought out two because the one I like to use is on the right there. But it lacks a couple features that backpacks usually have. So I have the other one to explain what those are. But let me throw the camera on a tripod and I'll get more in depth into both of them. I'm not going to talk about what I put in the backpacks, mainly because I just sort of stuffed a bunch of things in there to make them look blown out. Just talking about the differences and why they're different and the best uses, which they already have, the alpine versus backpacking, but the reason why they're best used in those circumstances. Alright, so first thing I'm going to talk about is the different front features of each backpack. Here's my backpacking backpack, here's the alpine climbing backpack, and let's talk about this one first because it's closest to me. I have a lot more stuff on the outside, just like strapped to the outside of this backpack versus that one, whereas you can see this one has a giant front pocket that I can just shove whatever I want into. And yeah, these are sort of made for different things. Backpacking, you can afford to have a wider gate between you on the trail, whereas most alpine climbing backpacks are designed to be climbed with, and so that's why there's not a whole lot of stuff to be able to strap onto the side. And even all this stuff that's strapped onto the side, with the exception of the picket I got here, which you can't see, there you go, there's the picket, all that's going to actually be like off the backpack when I'm climbing with it. First thing, I got a helmet. Nice little tip with your helmet is learn to strap it in two different places. I got it strapped here and then here, and then that way it won't jingle around as much as a helmet strapped to one point, which is actually pretty annoying. I personally get all of my alpine backpacks in this sort of setup with the two. It has two places you can attach climbing axes, and then this big front pack, because I like to keep my crampons on the outside, and that's what it's for. So you can keep your crampons in this front center backpack right here. And I don't know, maybe you could stick a water bottle in there if you don't have crampons on, but I like keeping them on the outside and not inside the backpack. I also got my ice tool right here. This is actually just a normal climbing ice axe. Has a strap up top and bottom, the same way how any backpack does it. There we go. And now that's pretty much it. This is what the backpack looks like when I'm climbing with it or using it besides the approach. And this is what you want, a really compact backpack. The hood is removable. So what I do is I usually have this stuffed with a bunch of things, and I take it off the backpack on summit day and put it inside the main compartment, and that helps my backpack be a bit more compressed. And so now I can actually it just takes up less space on my body and it's less annoying. Another thing is I have a bunch of climbing gear in here, which if you take it out, then you're going to use it while you're climbing, so you take it out and then you have a lot more space to compress your backpack. On the sides, it has your standard set of compression straps, which are kind of hard to see. There you go, now you can see them, the two compression straps on the side, and you can use those to compress the backpack down quite a bit, as well as hold your picket on, which anyone who is on any glacier without some form of picket is asking for trouble, so you always want a picket with you. Other features, that's pretty much the front for this thing. These straps that hold the hood, they're actually removable, so when you take the hood off, you can take these straps off. I take off the hood on virtually every climb I do, and since I don't like taking the straps off a lot, I just pull them out and tie them together. There we go. And I pull these things, and that just gets them out of the way, and that way I don't have to finick around with taking them off the strap too much. You can see how it's attached right there. Other features, the back panels. I'm actually going to get to the back panel or the back side in a little bit. Like I said, with this backpack, so this is actually an ultralight backpacking backpack. And I stuck the Bear canister on top because this is what a lot of people will use for through hikes or any other sort of backpacking stuff. So I like the backpacks that fit the canister on top and you don't have to actually find a place for it in the backpack. Another thing I didn't talk about is sizing, or the amount of liters in a backpack. So really, when you're alpine climbing, and it does depend on the amount of days, but 45 to 55 is about as big as you want to go with your backpacks once you get a good kit in there. And then that's again when you're climbing with it, just to take up as little space as possible. Or sometimes in teams you have like the leader has the smaller 45 or 35 pack, and then the follower has the larger 55 or even 65 liter pack. So that's another compromise you guys can do. With backpacking, usually the stuff is a bit more bulky, or you have a different organizational system in your backpack. And so you can, standard amount is probably 55 to 65 or even more. And this right here is a 55, but what I really like about it is its closure system. So here it's a 55 with the skirt pulled out, but it's a roll top closure. So any extra space, you just roll it up, and then you can clip this thing and it's not as big, it sort of compresses down. So that's really nice with these roll top closure backpacks. Another thing that I mentioned before is this really large pocket up front that I can put all sorts of stuff in, as well as on the side you'll see it has pockets for holding drinks or your trekking poles. Stuck my trekking poles in that one, and that's sort of like a really nice feature to have while backpacking. You notice how pretty much any alpine pack on the market doesn't have that set up, and that's because you want to keep it as compact as possible and put your drinks on the inside. Another thing a lot of people are doing is they're using inflatable sleeping pads, and so they'll have the sleeping pad in the backpack, but you can always just have your normal foam pad. This one you could strap to the side, or actually yeah, just the side, there's no bottom strap, so you stick this on the side and it really wouldn't be that big of a deal. Whereas in alpine climbing, that could get in the way and get caught on stuff and be really annoying. Another thing I have on this backpack is a water bladder. When I'm backpacking, I prefer the water bladder. When I'm alpine climbing, I prefer just 2 Nalgene water bottles, and maybe sometimes like some sort of water bottle or a reservoir to keep all my water in. So that's another thing that's sort of up to you. People will use these on glaciers. They will also use not use them at all because they don't like them, but that's just what I prefer. As far as trekking poles, I already told you that these ones are on the side. I'll take them out. When I'm backpacking, I'll bring 2 sort of more heavyweight trekking poles. When I'm alpine climbing, I'll bring 1 really lightweight trekking pole, and I guess this one also sort of compacts a bit more, and I like that setup. And I just bring the one for mainly the approach. Sometimes I've used it on the glacier getting up the mountain too, because it does add stability, but usually it's just the approach. Now let's move on to the back system of the backpacks. And this one being a really ultra light backpack, it pretty much doesn't have a frame. This is a non-frame backpack. It can bend and contort in any way. And so it's very simple. Or like a lot of large backpacks will have a hip belt system. This one's about as simple as it gets. I actually have a little pocket that I stick right here to hold stuff, but this is a very simple webbing belt. That does have slight padding on the shoulder straps, and then your typical sternum strap right here. And the idea with the hip belt and the sternum strap is it's trying to take as much weight off your shoulders as possible, because that's how you want these things to fit, is a nice tight. Most of the weight of the backpack should be on your hips, not on your shoulders. It's actually quite similar to the Alpine backpack. So this one, they gave a bit more padding. You can read more about this on the website. By the way, this backpack is made by My Trail Company. It's actually a very good backpack. Everyone should at least look into those, because I think it makes some good products, and they also have a more sturdy backpack for more intense endeavors, so you can look at that. That one's the ultralight, I don't know, 50, something like that. I think it's the ultralight 50. They don't have too many backpacks, so you'll be able to find that. This is a Black Diamond Mission Pack. Everyone knows that I use these, and I really like them a lot. But The backing right here, again, being an Alpine pack, they just trying to keep it as close to the body as possible. The hip belts, move this up a bit. So the hip belts are a bit more padded, which is kind of nice. They also come with a little gear loop and a nice clipper slot if anyone wants to use those. But it's a very well padded hip belt, so that way you can put a lot of weight on your hips without them cursing out your name. Padded back, but that's pretty much it. Not too much in the way of ventilation, just a big pad right here. And then somewhat padded shoulder straps, but they mostly kept them on the smaller side, so that way you can climb and they won't get in your way. Another thing that they have, you can see it right here. If you can read that, it says, oh, it's upside down. So that says swing arm technology, and this is something that does take getting used to, but the bottom of the pack, both shoulder straps are connected by one single wire going through the bottom. You can almost see that right here. In this more elastic stance, when I pull it out, see how it expands, and here you go, it expands and contracts. So what that does is it makes the backpack move more with you while you're climbing up, doing whatever you're doing. It does make it a bit harder to adjust, especially for people that are less used to big backpacks, so you gotta watch out for that. But once you get it dialed in, then it's no big deal, as well as once you get used to the whole swing arm deal. I think a lot of BD packs that are larger, like 45 and above, come with this feature, and it's not too bad. I mean, I don't know, I haven't really climbed with this backpack on really heavy loads, so I don't exactly know if it's like super amazing, but it's not a hindrance. It's not something that I'm going to be like, ugh, or in the future. But that's pretty much it. Very simple system, just designed to keep close to your back as much as possible and try to add a little bit of comfort, but these backpacks are not really made for comfort, you know. I have this other backpacking backpack here. This is an Osprey Exos 58, and so a lot of people are using these. A lot of trail folks are using these. Again, same deal. How it has this really large front pocket which you can access with a clip. I always buy backpacking backpacks with that pocket because I really like them. Has two side pockets. Even comes with a little gear strap for kind of no reason. Both of these backpacks, both of my backpacking backpacks, do have something to attach ice axes to. This is a little ice axe loop, and it comes up to an attachment right here, just like in all the other two. But and you will use it, actually, is what I'll say. But usually you use that for more like just really lightweight ice axes, just moving through the snow slopes, getting from mountain pass to mountain pass. Nothing like you wouldn't bring this backpack technical alpine climbing. It does have a few other features I like a removable hood, and then this extra hood underneath that you can, if you don't need this, you can ditch it. But other than that, it has pretty much all the same features as this one, except for the back. So this is what most backpacking backpacks have. It's a very rigid frame. Most backpacks nowadays are internal frame packs. You've seen, everyone's seen the videos where it's like older style backpack with an external frame. Most modern backpacks are internal frame, but you can sort of see a little bit of it here. You won't be able to see it in the video, but there's a little rod going up. But what this has is a mesh backing, and then on the inside, that's where the actual backpack starts. And so the backpack itself is curved to the side. You can sort of see that in the video, but it's curved away from your back. And what that does is this mesh padding allows air to flow in this little area right here, and then that helps cool your back and not get that annoying sweat patch that we all get on our backs when we walk with a backpack too much. They've even gone farther with these shoulder straps having the same feature, and so do the hip straps. So they're really all about trying to stay comfortable. These are also ultra padded. This is the most padded backpack I have, and you can feel it. It is really very different from this Alpine pack. You can almost probably see it. Yeah, look at that difference right there versus how thin this is. So if you're backpacking, this is a great backpack to get actually, and it conforms to your size and everything. Moving back to how the packs are packed, because that actually makes a big difference. I see a lot of backpackers nowadays that have like 65 or 75 liter packs, and they could actually, if they just changed up their packing system a little bit, they could fit that into like a 55 or a 45. But it's sort of a different idea. Again, with backpacking, you're not really asking too much other than just walking with all this stuff on your back. When you're alpine climbing, you have a bunch of stuff on your back, but you really want to keep it as small as possible. So when it comes to packing your pack alpine style, and these are all different videos that I'll talk about in the future, but you really just want to jam everything down so that way this is tight, like a sausage or something. Backpacking backpacks, they tend to have a bit more air bubbles in them, and this one I just sort of shoved a bunch of things into, so it has that same feature as this. But the way how some people pack their packs, you'll see how it's like a bunch of different stuff sacks with their clothes, and then a stuff sack for your food, and then maybe your sleeping system is in a stuff sack, and then their backpack looks like it's full of basketballs or something. But me personally, I don't like to pack my stuff that way, so that's why I got this 55 or 50 liter pack that I more just jam 40 liters into anytime. But that is sort of, there's a different mentality when it comes to packing something like this versus packing for backpacking. And if you're a backpacker, then it's kind of hard to switch over to alpine. But if you're an alpine, then it's like, I guess it's actually kind of hard to switch over anyway. Because you're so used to like stuffing as much in your pack and keeping it as small as possible versus it doesn't really matter. But that is the main differences between alpine style backpacks and backpacking backpacks. Can you backpack with this? Of course you can. I wouldn't exactly say go ahead and go mountaineering with this. Maybe more like the Osprey backpack. This wouldn't really be that bad of a mountaineering backpack. I wouldn't use it as my full mountaineering pack because it's also made with like the fabric's a little bit thinner. This is made to be very abrasion and durable, so that has its pros and cons. But if you're just out, you know, mountaineering one time with like a company or something, then feel free to just bring your backpacking backpack. I'm sure they won't mind, and if they do, then they'll probably have a backpack for you to rent anyway. So yeah, 1 or 2 time uses. I mean, it has all the features to get it done. With the alpine packs, if you're gonna go like technical climbing, then you're probably gonna want one of these anyway, just so that way you have the streamline, not a lot of stuff to get caught on, because it will get caught and will be annoying. So that's just a few things to look out for. Something like this is a great through hiking backpack because it's designed just super lightweight. A lot of people are moving to the roll top closures or the no frame backpacks, and I am too, because that is my favorite backpack. But and this is a really great like through hiking backpack, and it is lighter than any of the ones I got here. Obviously you sacrifice some comfort, so something like that or this would be great through hikers. I wouldn't exactly do any sort of through hiking in an alpine pack, just because the comfort level isn't really there. These aren't designed to be comfortable. They're made to just get the job done. And you can get away with it, but it will sort of sacrifice a little bit of comfort when you're putting in those, you know, 8-10 hour days just walking from point A to point B. That can sort of wear on you. But anyway, those are just a few thoughts of mine on backpacks and the main differences between alpine style and backpacking backpacks. If you have any more questions or have anything to add, you can always leave a comment, and then I'll see you in the next one.